In our first story, the Accra Region Police Command has warned of a rise in car snatching incidents in the capital. 4 suspects involved in one such incident were paraded by the Regional Command on Monday.
The 4 suspects were arrested on Monday by the Accra Region Police Command for their involvement in the snatching of a Toyota saloon car with registration number GE 952009 from the driver on May 17. The 4, John Asare, 20, a trader, Frederick Agokochi, 21, a fisherman, Elvis Obri Yeboah, 26, a driver, and Adam Umar Mutala, 34, a student, Accra Police. Accra Region Police PRO, ASP Afia Tenge, told journalists the 4 had hired the services of the taxi driver but later turned on him. She cautioned the general public to be more vigilant.
Police Command have arrested 4 persons suspected to be car snatchers, namely John Asare alias Shaki. He's 20 years and he's a trader. Frederick Agokote, 21 years and a fisherman. Again is Elvis Obri Yeboah, age 26 and also a driver, and Adam Umar Mutala, age 34, and he says he's a student. The brief facts are that on the 17th of May 2016, at about 10 p.m., the 3 suspects hired the services of a Toyota taxi cab with registration number GE 9520-09 from American House Junction, East Legon to Memphis, that is close to Asharibuche. On reaching the section of the road at Mempasem, the 3 asked the driver to stop, which he complied. They forcibly removed the ignition key, and when the driver resisted, he was attacked with a machete. In the process of the attack, he sustained machete wounds on his head and also arms. After they succeeded in snatching the car from him, they later drove the car to Kakumba Market for sale of an amount of 2,000 Ghana cedis. A report was immediately made to the police, and upon police intelligence, they were all arrested the next day at Kakumba Market, where they have gone to collect the amount. The driver who got injured in the process is still receiving treatment at the hospital. And efforts are underway to process the 4 at court. As the police continue to fight the menace, that is car snatching, it will appeal to the public, both private and commercial vehicle users, to be extra vigilant in order not to become victims of this crime. Then also the use of car tracking devices. We have said it time without number that we should try and also procure these devices.
The victim, Sadem Nossi, spoke to Joy News from his hospital bed.
Yeah, I was just on my routine work and then they stopped me. There were 3 guys, 1 in front and 1 was back. So we went to a house and then they went to visit a friend of theirs. So one went to their house and just came out that, okay, their friend is not around, so I should transport them back to their house, which is about 100 meters from the previous place. So when we got to their destination, they were like, how much would I take? So I charged them. He was about to take the money out of his pocket and then he took out the ignition key. And the ones behind me said that. That's how it happened.
So now you are told you are in the hospital. How are you faring?
Yeah, I'm getting quite better now.
Yeah, getting quite better.
George Olsen, Vines reports for Joy News.
The National Labour Commission has filed a writ in court to stop a strike by the Judicial Service Association of Ghana.
The association last week declared a nationwide strike over non-payment of their 2 years consolidated salary. It accuses government of deliberately delaying the payment of the monies it says has been approved by the Judicial Council.
Well, the development has seriously affected work at various courts across the country. The Labour Commission has since described the strike as illegal and in bad faith and so wants the court to compel judicial staff to resume work immediately. Executive Secretary Charles Bawedua tells my colleague Elton Brobe JUSAC acted unconstitutionally.
We subpoenaed the parties, the JUSAC and its members, and employers, that is Salaries and Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, then the Ministry of Employment, then the Ministry of Finance. We also subpoenaed the Judicial Secretary. So on the 18th day of May, the parties appeared before the Commission. The Commission heard the versions of both sides. We heard that of the employer, we heard that of JUSAC, and the Commission came to the conclusion that, one, the parties were still in the process of negotiating. And the law requires that when the parties are negotiating and it appears to the Commission that they have not exhausted the negotiation process, the Commission will refer the parties back to the negotiation to either complete it or declare a deadlock and come back to the Commission for the Commission to take other steps. So that was one. So we noticed that negotiations were still ongoing. So we directed that the parties must go back to the negotiation table, complete the negotiation, and report back to the National Labour Commission on the 8th day of June, whether successful or not. Now, we also noticed that contrary to the provisions of the Labour Act, which require any organization, union, to embark on a strike action or a lockout, must notify the National Labour Commission at least 7 days to the date stated in the notice for the intended action before embarking on such action. There was no such notice.
Was this done?
There was no such notice by JUSAC. And as a result, the Commission came to the decision that the intended action was illegal and directed the parties not to engage in it and to go back and complete the negotiation process and report back to the Commission.
Was this respected by JUSAC?
Clearly not. The next day we got information, the media, that JUSAC had in fact embarked on a strike action. And this clearly is in contravention of the directive of the Labour Commission. Clearly, it is not an action that JUSAC should have done. They ought to have respected the decision of the National Labour Commission. You see, the Commission, when it makes a decision, like in any court, you either comply with it, or when you disagree with it, there are steps you must take. One, you can apply back to the Commission for a review of the decision if you think that there was something substantially wrong with the decision or some facts, some new matters which has come out which were not in the contemplation of the Commission at the time they were taking the decision. Then you come for a review. Or two, you appeal against the decision of the Labour Commission. JUSAC never did any of this. And so clearly JUSAC is acting in a lawless manner.
Yes. The Commission, he adds, is hopeful it will succeed with its court's action.
What the Commission can do is to apply to the court, the law says, for an enforcement of the decision. We acknowledge that the body before whom we will apply for the enforcement of the decision are the people on strike. But we have had discussions with the Judicial Secretary, and the position is that there cannot be a complete halt of the judicial process in this country. That would be dangerous. So steps are being made to enable us to enforce our decision in the law court.
What are some of the steps?
Let me say shortly, an application will be filed before the court for an enforcement of the directives of the Commission.
The Association of Building and Civil Engineering Contractors says it can help reduce the housing deficit in the country if government gives it the needed financial support.
Ghana is currently battling with about 2 million housing gap, which has compelled many to put up with substandard yet exorbitant accommodation units. Speaking to Joy News' Raymond Akwa, the president of the Contractors Association, Martin Nuru, said with the right support, they can put up cheaper houses to bridge the huge infrastructural gap in the country.
Government can decide to build infrastructure, housing infrastructure, and use us to do it. Use local contractors to do it. Contact us, we sit down and plan it and discuss, and then we will deliver. It could be cheaper. It could be reasonable. Yes, we will design a plan that will suit the people. You can plan a house, design it. That will be affordable. You can use bricks. You can use several things. We have been discussing with government. Actually, our sector ministry. We have been discussing with our sector ministry, and we are yet to go with some design for the ministry to accept, and then we take it from there.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
On the other hand, too, I think that you see, housing delivery is very important. If government would even go for loan, you see, foreign loan, and organize we local contractors, we can also deliver.
Oh, okay.
Another aspect is that we can also be allowed to seek finance to deliver housing projects for the people of Ghana. That can also be. But the question is, it is about sitting down with government, which we have not been able to do properly.
In other news, petitioners opposed to the Postal Packet and Telecommunication Messages Bill are warning the bill has a potential of denying Ghanaian citizens the privilege of self-incrimination, which they enjoy under the current legislation.
The bill seeks to harmonize the various regulations that exist on the security of posts, government interception of parcels, general communications, among others. But speaking on the Pulse on Monday, one of the petitioners, private legal practitioner Samson Ladia Yenene, insists the bill is unnecessary.
They are finished at this point. That's a committee, the Defense and Interior Committee. They will submit, the inputs that have come, and then they will put it at the whole House. And the House will begin a debate.
Okay.
But I say it doesn't look like it's necessary, and it doesn't look like there's urgency for it. But I make a point that even if it is necessary, it is only necessary to the extent that it is seeking to bring all such laws scattered in over a dozen legislations in this country together into one small book. That one every lawyer will embrace.
Okay.
So to that extent, it may be necessary, but it's not urgent.
Okay.
Presently, our laws protect you from what we call self-incrimination, so that if you are arrested, you could decline to give information, because it's not your job to give information for that information to be used against you.
Yeah.
You and your wife, your communication is privileged. You and your priest, your pastor, okay, your communication is privileged. You and your lawyer, the discussions that you have are privileged. But with this law, and with that animal put in there for the security coordinator, he can abuse it, and it may even become the default. Instead of seeking to go to court, he will simply tap your conversation, use it for whatever he wants, okay, and doesn't really get punished. And then they say, after he has done that, he can come to the court later to confirm it. I say, that is a rather, upside down situation. It's wrong. They should get that one out. What I suspect is that if they are actually listening to all the submissions that have come in so far, what it means is that Section 4.3 of the bill will be struck out.
Legal practitioner and host of Newsfile, Samson Ladia Yenene. Now, let's look at this. The Ghana Armed Forces has welcomed a new policy as introduced by the United Nations on financing of its peacekeeping operations, which requires that countries pre-finance their participation.
Countries, apart from making their officers available, will also have to provide their own military equipment, including tanks, and the transportation of the logistics.
Addressing journalists at the opening of the 2016 Peace Operations course in Accra, the Director of Studies at the Ghana Armed Forces Staff and Command College, Colonel Iveni Ayite, explained Ghana stands to gain immensely from the new policy.
Ghana is one of the main contributors of troops to the United Nations peacekeeping operations around the world. The 3-week course is aimed at equipping Army officers who are often in charge of these operations with the needed skills. The Director of Studies at the Ghana Armed Forces Staff and Command College, Colonel Iveni Ayite, gives a breakdown of participants for this year's course.
On this course, we have 65 students. Internal students or integrated students for this college, coming from 11 African countries, including Ghana. They are on a 1-year course And as part of the course, they have this model, it's for 3 weeks. We invited 26 participants from outside, including the press. We have 6 press houses who are students on this course. And then we have 50 students. We run a weekend master's program. 50 of them selected peace operations as an elective. So they've joined the course as well. So you have over 120 students on this course.
In the past, the United Nations bought equipment and funded peacekeeping operations. That arrangement has changed. Nations contributing troops to UN peacekeeping are now required to buy their own equipment and pre-finance their operations before the United Nations reimburses them later. Colonel Ayite says the new arrangement gives the Ghana Armed Forces an additional benefit.
It's beneficial to us when we've used those equipment and those machines close down. Those equipment revert to us and we use them back at home. So if you look at right now, we are deployed in Mali. We are using our own resources there. Those resources will come back home. So that's the advantage of the wet lease system. The initial financially is difficult, but I think the government understands what benefits comes to us. So we are getting the support that is required.
The Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College also used the ceremony to show appreciation to CDH Financial Holdings for infrastructural support to the college. Group Chief Executive of CDH Financial Holdings is Kwejo Edu Sarkodie.
For any organization that seeks to assist government in its maintenance of peace, this is where to put your money. Because when there is peace, of course, we all know the benefits to all of us. So I would encourage corporate bodies to invest here, because for every CD that you put in, they make use of it as if you gave them 10 times that.
And as part of efforts to curb insurgent attacks and also restore peace in Somalia, the United Nations and the African Union have jointly inaugurated a police task force to help deal with militant groups there.
Somalia has for the past 25 years seen a war that has killed thousands and left several others homeless. Derek Ekosam filed this report from the capital, Mogadishu.
2 decades of war here in Somalia, and the capital city, Mogadishu, has been the worst hit. Thousands have died and several families separated. Militant groups have over the last few years tried to seize power, a situation natives describe as worrying. One such group is the dreaded Al-Shabaab movement. The African Union and the United Nations have for some time now been helping keep the peace in Somalia. To help strengthen the work being done here, it is training indigents to become policemen. About 200 of them have been added to the force on Monday in Jubaland, Kismayo. The troops, made up of 186 men and 12 women, have been tasked to protect the sovereignty of the country and help protect the indigents. Kismayo is one of the towns noted to be frequently attacked by the Al-Shabaab militant group. The African Union mission in Somalia, AMISOM, seeks to train about 600 men and women this year. It is believed that this move, among several others, will help the country recover from war and develop. Derek Ekosam, Joy News, Mogadishu, Somalia.
And that's it for the news this morning. As always, you want to get interactive, please make sure you do so. On Facebook, we have a page, Joy News on TV. Currently, we're streaming live on our YouTube channel with the name My Joy Online. Please go look for it.
And you can also send us your WhatsApp messages on the number 0560-800,000.
Okay, right now we'll have to look at what the stories are front and back pages of the various newspapers we have in the studio. We'll also be looking at some online portals, notably myjoyonline.com, the BBC, and perhaps CTFM Online. So we're taking a break. We'll be right back.